Hey, it's Paris. I'm back with more content from my trip to Obsidian Entertainment. And this time, I'm going to be sitting down with Dennis Presnell. He is the environment artist on Avowed, as well as Matt Hansen. He's the art director on Avowed. We had a very fun conversation, but I have to warn again, you're going to hear some weird echoing about halfway through. I tried to clean it up as much as I could, but I thought this interview was so good. I wanted to put it out anyways because I love the passion that both of them have, not only for the game Avowed, but just their craft of what they do as far as art, be it in the game or in other projects as well. So this is my conversation with them. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you again soon. All right, everyone. This is Paris. I am still here at Obsidian. And as some of you already know, I have played Avowed, and I have a couple more people here to talk about the game. So can you introduce yourself?
I'm Matt Hansen. I am the art director for Avowed.
I'm Dennis Presnell. I'm the lead environment artist.
Now, you and I have already met at LA Gamescom, so this is our first time meeting, so it's very nice to meet you.
You get to meet my better component.
Yeah. So let's talk art in Avowed. Let's talk world building in Avowed. It's a very pretty game.
Thank you.
It's a very pretty game.
It's great to hear.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
No, it is because, like I said, I played it at LA Gamescom, so I got to see that level, which already looked great. Even now, I immediately saw a visual upgrade to the game, which was fantastic. But getting this new zone, this new area, which is just a different biome compared to what we had before, was really pop. So I don't know if you want. Let's just start there. Talk about the area that we just played in Avowed.
Yeah. So you would have played the prologue.
Yes.
Which is a little island just off the coast of the main area you were, which is Dawn Shore.
Yeah.
So
see, I didn't. I was like, is it? I couldn't remember. So I was like, I'm gonna let him say it. There you go, Dawn Shore.
Feel free to just throw me under. I'll take it. So Dawn Shore is the region you were in. It's kind of the somewhat welcoming gateway to the Living Lands. It's our it's the region that's probably going to be the most familiar to people.
Okay.
It's it's kind of it's a little idyllic at first, and then you start to get a little deeper and go, what is going on around here? You're starting to see nature fighting back against the people that are trying to settle this place. And then as you go deeper in more regions into the game, later and later in the game, it's just that weirdness, that natural sort of reclamation and the danger of the Living Lands gets more and more present with each place you go to. But I don't know, Dennis, if you want to talk more specifics on Dawn Shore.
Oh, well, first, Prologue Island. I think it's a great intro to the game. It kind of sets up what you'll be seeing in Dawn Shore, and Dawn Shore just builds upon that. But immediately, you're met with some wild, unique vegetation, beautiful pops of color, but also an environment that feels foreboding and threatening. And as you pass through Prologue, I think the art does like a really wonderful job of telling a story and sort of instilling a sense of urgency and dread in the player, as well as I guess enticing the player to want to explore. Exploration is such a hallmark of our game and something that we really leaned hard into.
I think the best compliment I can give is it felt lived in.
Yes.
I found myself, and I'll go back and look at my capture footage when I get home, stopping and looking around a lot at things. Was this Dawn Shore? It doesn't matter. But at one point I was standing on a cliff and I'm looking around and I go, oh wow, this is, this feels like a real world that I'm in. And again, that's a credit to you and your team for what you designed. So what were some of, because obviously there's more biomes other than just that. So what were some of the things that inspired you for the art in Avowed?
That's a long list.
We got time. No.
Yeah, I mean, really there aren't any singular inspirations I can point to. Not only because it wasn't, just me developing what that would be, but because we've got a whole team contributing their interests and experiences, and just tossing out great ideas, and we latch onto those and we build on them. I was talking a little bit earlier today about how, like, yeah, there's some real world things we're looking at, like real world locations, and saying, oh, we really like these kinds of mountains, or we really like these, this style of swamp or whatever. But we're also looking at, hey, here's a particular type of salt crystal. We really like the shapes in it. What happens if we make it really big and we can climb around in it, right? And those sorts of varied interests and inspirations come together in a way that actually suits the Living Lands well, because the Living Lands itself is a confluence of all of these different environments. And oh boy, added some extra syllables to environments there. Environments and worlds, and so it doesn't end up being like too much. It's not really a maximalist approach to it. Everything is there with intention, but there's still a lot of variety to explore.
Yeah, we had a broad box to sort of work in, and we were able to pull inspiration from basically everywhere. There were a few limits other than just respecting the core pillars of the game, which Matt is really terrific at describing. And then to circle back with something that you mentioned earlier was it feeling really lived in. And that was really the story that we were trying to tell through the art. Being very deliberate with our set dressing and our building of areas. Everything that exists in the map, really, it's not there for arbitrary reasons. Everything is like purpose built, and it has a sense of authenticity that I think it how do I say? I just feel like it's really a wonderful experience to explore it, because you feel like you're exploring a place that has a long, rich history.
Yeah, one of the things that contributes most to that, and it's kind of a hallmark of Obsidian games, is missable content. Right? You can walk past a door and never open it, and never know what's beyond.
Right.
But a buddy of yours might have played it, and they come to talk to you, and they're like, did you find the secret room in the prologue where the bad stuff happened?
Yeah.
And you can be like, what are you talking about? And I don't know if anyone actually today, or we had some folks here yesterday as well, found that room, but it's a real place. I think maybe 2% of players will find it.
Yeah.
And it's in our prologue, right? And it's you get in there and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I definitely did not find that. Yeah.
But having spots like that throughout the game make it just feel much more alive. Right?
No, absolutely. Because even that was the prologue. There was one area where I could tell, like, if I smashed the thing to go down, I could go in, and there was like a treasure box in there.
Yeah.
But I totally could have skipped that.
Yeah.
So that was like an entire area of the game I would not have seen. So yeah, I totally appreciate that you put that type of things in the game. The other question I had for you, art-wise, this is all handcrafted?
Oh
yeah.
We a lot of it was done internally. We also have an incredible group of outsourcing partners we've worked with. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we make very bespoke experiences.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important for us to be able to make sure we're putting the right thumbprint on everything we make.
Absolutely. And I ask you this first.
Sure.
What is the thing that you're most excited for people to experience at Avowed?
Oh, any one thing? There are three things that I really love about Avowed, and I can't rank them necessarily. And the combat is really fun. I mean, I think that is definitely going to excite people and have them want to continue to engaging in the content. Exploration is huge. We really, really worked hard to reward the player for, checking around corners and opening those doors and rewarding their curiosity. And the third thing for me is just how you move through the maps.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly fun. We have this amazing parkour system that you can jump onto things, over things, climb up to the rooftops. If you can see it, most likely you can get there. We're very deliberate at showing you what content you can and can't access. But if you see, some indicators that there might have been a presence of life there or human activity, like chances are you can engage with it.
Yeah. I'm a lot like Dennis. I have a hard time picking favorites.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is I'm excited to see the stories that our players tell with the world we've provided them. We've laid out a really rich place for them to explore, and it's always so fun for me to like go through forums after the game's been out for a little bit. I did this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just get so surprised by it. We allow for a lot of opportunities for player agency, and it's just. There's a lot of people who I tend to go very altruistic when I play games. I just like being the good guy. But I like when, people have fun stories about how they were jerks to this or that NPC and it backfired. But then on top of that, also, like, I really want Avowed to be kind of a gateway game into the world of Aora. We very consciously with Avowed decided we wanted this to be a more approachable game. Not that the other, Pillars 1 and 2 are unapproachable per se, but they're niche, right? The CRPG genre is, it can be intimidating if you're not familiar with it. And so I hope that players will play this game and go, oh man, I really like this setting. I really like these characters. I really like this world. There's 2 other games. I'm going to go check those out.
Right.
And obviously they'll be surprised by the differences in how those games play. But I hope it's a happy surprise.
So I have to tell you this funny story.
Yeah.
So we on Kind of Funny, we got a chance remotely to talk to Gabe and Carrie some months back. And I said, this is Path of Exile instead of Pillars. And I have felt like an idiot ever since. So I'll get to talk to Carrie later. I can't wait to bring this up to her because I've literally been carrying this the entire time.
I'll tell you what, you're not the only person that makes that mistake.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, okay, this is going to be very telling. Our wiki for the game is like the best source of truth for just lore. This game is so rich with lore, right? And every once in a while I'll be like, oh man, craftsmanship. Yeah, I think that's an Abaddon thing, but maybe also that's in Magrin's domain. And I'll just like type in like PoE gods. And then it's just like Path of Exile.
Yeah.
And I'll even click the link and I'll go, nope, wrong wiki. And then so you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
But to what both of you are just saying, because I've asked that question to everyone I've talked to so far, and the common response has been about the exploration of the world. Yeah. Everybody's very excited to have us, the players, go out on the off beaten path and explore in the world. And even in just my limited time, that's what I did. Yeah. I was going around random stuff looking and bringing this back into the art of what you have created in this game. It's just a beautiful game. Awesome. It really is. And I don't mean this in a negative way because this is a compliment. Like I said, I played it before. Obviously, we've seen videos, things like this. But what I saw today, which is obviously more close to what the final game is going to look like, they're going to be surprised. They're definitely going to be surprised with this final polish that you're putting on the game. It really pops. The color palette really stands out, and it's going to be good.
I'm grateful to hear that. I mean, there's a real component of risk to how we marketed the game.
Yeah.
Which is to show it in at any time a marketing video came out, we had to release a trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
We would show the game exactly as it was.
Right.
And that's not a common strategy. A lot of people like to put a little spit shine on the thing before they show it to the public, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But we wanted to really make sure that when players got their hands on the game, they didn't have any disappointing surprises. And the best way to do this is to be really honest with what you're showing people.
Yeah.
The first trailer we put on, I look back at it and I go, oh boy, that's rough. And it's only because I've seen how far we've taken things.
Yeah.
The game is practically unrecognizable at this point, in a good way.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited for people to kind of experience, what you got to experience today. The content you play, that's just the game.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do anything special for that. And so it's very, I get excited when I had a great time, it's beautiful. It's like, oh, you're going to love the rest of this.
Right.
You're going to love the rest of this. So, that's great. I'm really happy to do that.
Can you answer? Because again, I know there's biome diversity in there. Do we know how many different zones are in the game? Is that something you're talking about?
I don't think we're talking about that quite yet.
Okay.
All of the content we've released so far, players have seen a lot of them. I know there's one particular one that we aren't talking about.
Okay.
It is unfortunately also my favorite zone. It's just like, let me talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a decent variety. You know, if you really wanted to pick through the trailers that have been out so far and the other content we've released so far, you might be able to get a good idea of the panel. But I don't think I don't know if we're gonna say that yet, so I'm gonna hold my tongue.
So I'll say it this way. So is it fair to say that, again, from an artistic standpoint, there was a mandate to have every biome be unique?
Yes, absolutely. And it goes beyond that, but I'll start with that. Which is to say the Living Lands itself is in the lore of Pillars 1 and 2. You can find books in those first two games that describe it a little bit. It's a small island continent that's made up of these incredibly distinct and diverse valleys. You might get a jungle and you go through a mountain pass and suddenly you're, in a rocky wasteland or whatever. I don't know why I picked jungle. That's one we didn't do. But I mean, that's really what this place is.
Right.
It was a great opportunity to not only embrace the narrative of what the Living Lands is supposed to be, but also just have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make a lot of variety, right? But to do that in a cohesive way too. As you move from region to region, it will feel very distinct, like you are in a different place. But even within the regions, there are sub-biomes. And those serve a couple of purposes, not only just for a sense of variety, but the regions are quite large. A sense of variety so you don't get bored in the hours you're spending in offshore or whatever. But also as a subconscious wayfinding element for players. If everything looks the same, and you get turned around and you're like, oh no, where am I? But if you are wandering and you're like, oh, I'm in the swamp area. Oh, the swamp area was next to the high forest. So if I go that way, then I'll be able to turn there and get back to the city. Like that kind of subconscious wayfinding is so important when you have games at the scale that we're doing them. And so it's a lot of good excuses to have a lot of fun. But I don't know if you want to talk more about any of those.
Yeah, with the region diversity that we have, it does all feel natural. You don't feel jostled or disrupted by the move from one area to the next. Like when you have that kind of diversity. Like it could sometimes feel very much like Mega Man levels. Like you have the rock level, the ice level, and the cloud level. But I mean, they all feel like a contiguous part of the same, region of the world. And it's just, it feels very natural moving through it.
Excellent. What? Because again, we're taking this from an artistic standpoint. Were you involved in any of the weapon design?
Yes. So much of the weapon design, we outsourced the concepts for. A lot of it was handled internally, and I directly oversaw and provided.
Okay.
There is actually one weapon in the game. Well, there's a couple that I directly concepted. One of them was from what you played at Gamescom. The cool sword that the guy had. That's my baby.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Granted, I'm not a 3D artist, so huge credit to, I believe it was Zoe that sculpted that one. But yeah, once, I've got my finger in every pie to an extent, but I also try to make sure there's a lot of room for the individual, contributors to put their own stamp on them.
So does that also go to character design as far as, like the clothing, all those things?
Yeah, I mean, my general strategy with leadership, and especially with creative leadership, is to, give the box to people to work in and get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
These are really smart, creative people. I'm just one dude, and so getting diverse perspectives on what our stuff can be, right? And every once in a while, I kind of have to tap things back into the box and say, like, hey, we got a little off the rails with this one. Let's, maybe make these modifications and we'll be good. But the fact of the matter is, like, every single developer on this team is an expert at what they do. I'm just good at talking. So it's
That's what they say about me. I'm just good at talking.
Yeah, like I'm good at talking, and I can do a pretty decent job of selling an idea. I'm a pretty good conflict mitigator. I'm not an environment artist, There's been loads of times where I've just been like, "Dennis, just make it cool, bro." Please, hey, here's some ideas. Just make it cool, and he rolls with it. So, yeah, I absolutely am involved with that process, but it's all out of the individual devs.
We have an incredibly creative team, and on this project, we've just had real freedom and autonomy to express ourselves. We have this really yes and mentality. It's never no or but, and as long as we're operating within the game's pillars, we've had tremendous creative freedom, and that gives the devs a sense of ownership and a sense of passion in their work that is reflected in the quality of the game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to end it on this because
All right.
I'm curious both of your answers here.
Yeah.
What is something you want the community to know about Avowed?
Everything about it. I'm gonna have to stew on that for a second. I don't know if you have it handy, Dennis. You could save my ass while I'm pondering, but
Avowed is just a wonderful experience from start to finish. Having done a completionist playthrough of the game, I can say that there's no content that is there just to fill time or just to take up space. You never feel like you're grinding or you're just trying to get through it to the end.
Okay.
The player is going to enjoy the content from start to finish, and it's consistent. Like, we didn't, put all our eggs into one basket in the first area. I mean, players will be rewarded for getting through this game, and we don't cheap out at the end. That's for sure.
yeah, I think that kind of spurs me something that I'm excited for people to get to experience. It's just like this is a holistic experience that will, not only respect your time, but it will encourage potentially you to play the game again. Right? There's so much to find there, and there's so many different ways that you can tell your story within that space. It's very much an Obsidian game. Maybe that's what it comes down to. It's not only is it an Obsidian game and true to our strengths as a studio, but it's also an evolution on that formula. I think Dennis opened with talking about parkour in our game, right, and traversal in our game. We took that a lot further than anything Obsidian's ever done before. I think we really nailed it in a lot of ways. And that just means that's one more way for players to experience the worlds they want to experience them. And that's exciting. I'm really excited for what Avowed means for the future of the studio and the kinds of games we can make in the future, but also just as its own contained thing. I think there's a lot of magic there for people to find.
That's awesome, and thank you both for sharing that. I will just say on a personal note, I'm an Obsidian fan, have been for a long time. All the Obsidian games over the years, I've loved them. So ever since Avowed we first found out about it in 2020, I guess, right? I'm like, I can't wait to see what this is going to be, and to see over the years what it has evolved into to now this final product that I just played. I'm excited for it. I love the player freedom. I feel like I can go into this game and just play the way I want to play it. I don't feel like the game's telling me I have to play it this way. And I think the work that your teams have done by creating this world, this beautiful set piece that we get to now go in and explore, I'm excited for it. So again, thank you both.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And honestly, you hint at something there, which is, I think a lot of people have been waiting for a long time to understand exactly what this game is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I am so grateful for the patience that our fans have had, right? It's not been a particularly clear picture.
Right.
Until now. And even then, it's hard to get a really good understanding until you just play it, right? And so I'm so grateful that, folks like you are coming in and getting a chance to get your hands on and go, okay,
I mean, again, just being completely transparent on this as we end this. I didn't know what the hell this was until I played it in August or whatever at Gamescom, because we'd see the trailers and this, and Carrie go on a podcast and talk about it. I'm like, okay, but what is it, right? So to now, I played it twice now. Oh, I totally get it, and it was funny this time playing it. I struggled a little bit with the combat, trying to figure out the best way to do it. And right when it clicks, like, I got it. Thank you for playing. We'll see you in February. Okay, great. But that's
it's almost like we planned it.
yeah, exactly.
We didn't plan it. But I'm glad that was your
Yeah, absolutely. So again, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk to me.
Yeah.
Can't wait to February, get the final. Everybody, we're getting Obsidian Ass RPG. It's going to be great. Thank you so much. Thank you.